What's up guys? Nick here for Daily Vape TV. Today is Fresh Build Fridays. Happy 4th of July. Today we're going to be building a flat bastard coil on our 722 mod. This is going to be my first positive ohm coil, and gets a little tricky. So first off, I just want to send a huge shout out to everyone that came out to VCCNE this past weekend. I had an amazing time. I got an interview with Phil Basardo. If you haven't seen that video yet, make sure you check out the link. It'll be down here somewhere. But yeah, I had such a great time meeting everyone. I also want to thank Kevin Skipper. He helped me out and allowed me to do the rebuilding classes, which went over really well. Hope you guys all learned something. Really can't wait to do this again. I hope I get to see you all in Tennessee. I'm hoping I'm going to be there. Fingers crossed. So let's have a quick vape and get started. I've been using this coil for about a week now, and it just chucks vapor, and especially on a regulated mod it performs extra good. But yeah, check it out. We'll see if we can see this here in the video. So for this build you're going to need a few things. 32 gauge Canthal wire, 0.5 millimeter flat ribbon wire, and a drill. So the first thing we're going to do today, before we get into the little up close portion, is wrap a strand or two strands of 32 gauge Canthal, and you're going to want to take about 2 feet of this stuff and wrap it together. So that's what we're going to do here. Now that we have our wire cut, we're going to take the two ends and put them together, and we're going to take the other end and do a few twists on it. So you just take the looped end here and do a couple quick twists just by hand. This is to give your wire a little bit of tension when it's in the drill because it's so tiny. Next thing you want to do is take your looped end and insert it into the chuck of the drill, and this sucker's got to be really tight. Okay, now you're going to take your pliers and grab the two ends, the other two ends of the wire here. Just put a little tension on the wires and start off real slow. And that's just what you want. You want it to just break off right at the end there. So there we go. That's our twisted 32 gauge wire. Now we're going to go into the up close portion and show you how to wrap the rest. So as you can see here, we put our 32 gauge double wrapped wire right back in the drill. Now we're going to get some flat ribbon wire, about 3 feet of it, and we're going to insert it into the side of the drill right here. Now you also want to make like a quick little loop here, and that'll give it a little more tension when it's inside the drill bit here. Just like that. And you want it at a slight angle. Now what you want to do is wrap it a couple of times manually just to get it started. So now that we have it started, we're just going to pinch it between our thumb and our forefinger, give it a little bit of tension, and make sure it's at a slight angle, as you can see here. And we're going to start off real slow. You can kind of feel it pushing your thumb and finger back a little bit, so just kind of go with it. But after a bit it should just start wrapping right over itself. Alright, so let's see if we can get a close up. There she is. A couple little bad spots in there, but don't worry about that. We're just going to use this end of the wire probably. So here's our completed Tin Man wire. Now what we're going to do is trim the ends off and wrap a coil with it. So here's what we're going to be using today. We're going to be building on a Patriot RDA. We have our 14 gauge syringe needle, blunt tip, tweezers, screwdriver, pliers, and wire cutters. Of course, we have our Tin Man wire here. Alright, so the first thing you want to do is, just like any other microcoil, is grab your syringe needle and keep your wire parallel to it and just start wrapping a coil. Today we're going to do 6 wraps. First we do our quick wrap around, and then we start our coil. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so you want to give that some pretty decent tension because it is pretty springy. You want to undo your first lead. Now you want to keep this one as tight as possible while you're working on it, so just be very careful. Alright, so now we're going to clip that excess wire off and we're going to insert it in our RDA. Now that I have both leads in, I'm going to just take my pliers and kind of gently pull it towards the positive and negative terminals. You want to get it pretty close without touching. There we go. And now I'm going to tighten it down. Just hand tight, don't over tighten because you could snap that wire. Straighten up that coil by just kind of pulling on your needle here, nudging it up a little bit. Now this does take a little bit of playing with it when it's on your mod before it comes out really nice, but so far so good. So as you can see here, it's measuring in at 1.1 ohms. I have the 722 set at 22 watts. Now we're going to scrunch up our coil, wick it, and fire it up. It's glowing pretty good now. I usually dry burn this about 20 times or so just because it's super springy. Alright, so I have my little pre-made wick here, just regular rolled cotton like I always use, and we're going to insert it into our coil. And you just want to use the slightest amount of pressure while doing this. I tried this coil with 2 different wicks in my original one, and neither one worked quite as well as my original wick. So I'm going to trim off the end here, leaving about 1.5 inches. So there she is, all wicked up. Now let's juice it up and give it a vape. Alright, let's give it a test fire here. Oh yeah. Happy 4th of July. Here's your fireworks. So as I said before, I've been using this coil for about a week now. And I started getting a little bit of a muted flavor to it after a week, and I tried re-wicking it a few times and it just wouldn't get rid of that like old musty kind of flavor. I'm assuming that's because the Twisted 32 inside the coil is getting gunked up, and every time I try to clean it, it doesn't quite get all the way down into the insides of the coil. So this one might not last too long, but while it's around, it's definitely an awesome coil. I get really sweet flavor, which I love. I'm getting so much flavor out of it too, and the vapor is just unbelievable, especially on a regulated mod. I'm vaping it at 22 watts, 4.91 volts, and it reads out to 1.1 ohms, so that's pretty darn good in my opinion. Let's give it a vape here. So you just get a little bit of everything. You definitely get a ton of the flavor. You get plenty of vapor, and the throat hits right on point. And just to note, I am using Space Jam's flavor Astro that I got at VCC, and it's just unbelievable so far. Definitely the best coil I've ever had on the 722 so far. It's a little difficult to build, so for you noobs out there, would stay away from this one for a little while, but definitely try it out once you can wrap a really good microcoil and maybe twisted wire coils. Definitely give it a shot, because this one is amazing. Love it. When I was at VCC, I had to show everyone this coil, show it off a little bit, little coil porn for you. This coil in particular is my favorite on a regulated mod. For those of you that like to vape above 1 ohm, this one's definitely for you, and it's even safe to vape on a Legend or Vamo or anything like that, where you can build a 1+ ohm coil and it will fire. The difficulty of this coil, it's a little bit tricky to get those wires just right, and I'm sure you're going to screw up like I did. I definitely got a few overlaps in my little spare piece of wire here, but it is what it is. You just got to keep pushing through, just like a Clapton coil. You just got to keep going, keep that tension on that wire, and you'll make it. Hope you enjoyed the video, guys. Don't forget to check out my latest video on the VCC, my interview with Phil Basardo, and coming up I will have juice reviews for you and more coverage of VCC. So until next time, keep practicing, vape safe, and vape on.